Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to bring you a more updated video of how to install an Azone body on your Pullip and a family doll. So here with me I do have a completed Mao. Of course he's been customized a little bit, but as you can see he's installed on an Azone body, which is super cute. So I'm going to show you guys how to get this final look today. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I do want to start off by saying that this is not the only method to get this done and for the final product. This is just the way that I have found the easiest, or that I have only done for myself. There are lots of different ways to get this done. In my previous video I showed how to attach a piece of rubber to the head like this. But instead of the rubber, I decided to use to use washers instead. I've just found that they're a little bit more stable and they kind of seem to last a little bit longer, and plus the rubber kind of wears down just a little bit and leaves a little bit of black inside your doll's head, which really isn't that big of a deal. But some of my dolls, after rubbing for a while, the rubber can fall apart depending on if it's too hot outside or if it's too cold. I've had my rubber crack inside my doll's head and I've had to replace that. So this is just kind of more of an updated video to show you guys. And like I said, this isn't the only way to get this done, but I just wanted to share my method with you. Alright, so first off, I want to apologize. I'm trying to have the best lighting for this video, so I apologize. The sun's probably gonna like fade in and out because it's really cloudy right now. So I'll try and keep this video as well lit as I can. But first thing you want to do is take your Azone body. You're going to want to take the peg out, and all you have to do is just bend it back until it pops. Very, very simple. Next step we're going to want to do is make sure that we get these grooves completely sanded and smoothed out so that the head sits on nice and even, so you don't have these little awkward grooves. So what we're going to do is take our sandpaper. I was too lazy. I never fully opened mine, and you can like see all the grate marks on it from me scraping my doll necks. I got this at Walmart quite a few years ago, I think now. It's just 3M sandpaper. So what you're going to want to do is take your body and make sure you try and do this evenly so you don't have a lopsided neck. Just take the body. I try and do more circular motions. It allows me to kind of get more of an even sand down. So you can see I sanded it and there's still a little bit of the groove left. But it's a lot more smooth in the back here, you can see, which is fantastic. You're only going to want to do a little bit at a time because you don't want to make your doll's neck too short, because then her head looks like it sits too close to her shoulders, and it does not, trust me, it does not look too good. I've done that by accident on one of my dolls before. So this is what it looks like now. Sorry, my hands are a little dusty. As you can see, it's still there. So we'll try and speed this up here really quick. That's starting to look a little better. So I'm just going to finish sanding this up really quick and we'll be right back for the next step. Ta-da! We have one perfectly sanded neck. As you can see, it's smooth all the way around, and we'll start the next step. Okay, I know I've appeared back with some scary looking tools here. Like I said, this is just how I do it. I know there are many ways to get this done and to achieve the final product, but this is just the way that I've learned how to do this. So what you're going to need now is you're going to need a screw. This is what mine looks like. Just big enough. You can see it's going to go about this far down into my doll's body, probably more like about that far down. So you need a screw that will be long enough to fit down in there. These are the washers that I bought. I got these at my local Walmart store. I don't recall how much they were. I think like maybe $3 to $6, so they weren't that bad. I got the flat versions. And depending on what type of screw you use and what size that you use, you're going to want it to be big enough for it to fit through, and then but not big enough for it to go all the way through, because this is what's going to be holding the doll's head onto the body. Now, my boyfriend is handy enough to have some tools and some drills, because God knows I don't. This is what we're going to use to be drilling down inside of the doll's neck to allow the screw to go in to hold the head to the body. You're going to want to make sure that if you are using a drill like me, that you're going to want to make sure that your drill bit is at least half of the size smaller than your screw, if not just a little bit smaller, because you want something for your screw to grab onto when you screw it down. You don't want it to be stripped and to slide right off, because you don't want that. All right, so we're going to show the process that I do. So this is what gets very tricky. If you are younger, please have adult supervision, because I do not want you to mess up. I have made a few mistakes in the past. You're going to want to drill. Make sure that you go straight down into that body, because I have done it at an angle before and I've had the drill come right out on the back, which normally isn't a problem for me, just because that my dolls wear clothes anyways and I never see the back. But if you are pretty fickle, you're going to want to be very careful with this. So give this a shot here. You're going to hold it and push. All right, now that we got deep enough, we'll pull it back out. Voila. As you can see, we have a hole straight down to the body. And guys, I just want to let you know, I'm surprised how perfect that came out, because I have the worst luck in the world, and even doing this off camera, it can be a struggle sometimes for me. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself. So you're going to have some extra bits that, of course, you're going to want to clean up and vacuum up. All right, and we'll get on to the next step. So before we get the screw into the neck hole, we're going to want to make sure, depending on the type of pull-up you have, that this neck fits snugly into place. Luckily, I have a type 2 pull-up afternoon here that I am using. So her neck hole is quite larger. Since she's an older doll, her neck area was bigger due to her body. So luckily, her head, the body's going to be a perfect fit. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to get those right there. So her body's going to be a perfect fit. So I'm very, very lucky with that. However, with my previous model, I used Pullip Paha, and I actually had to use a Dremel drill. I held her head together, and what I did is I took the little sander bit and I moved it nicely in a circular motion to make an even hole on both the front and the back until the head fit. So now it sits perfectly down in there, and she's able to move it from side to side. So especially if you have a type 3 or a type 4 pull-up, you're probably going to have to do some neck grinding, or some sanding, I should say, in the neck hole. But luckily for pull-up afternoon, that's not one I have to worry about. Now we're just going to take our screw and our washer. Hole in there, you will line it up. Kind of hold it with your fingers to keep it aligned, so that you can make sure that you screw it down straight. Even though you did drill a hole straight down, the screw can go in at an awkward angle if you don't help guide it. And this is something that might take a little bit of time. Sadly, due to my doll's neck melt, as you can see, that she doesn't have that extra little bit on the inside, more on that side, but that's okay because she still has a little bit of something. So off camera, I screwed this down just to make sure that I did it properly. So this is what your finished product should look like. And all you have to do is just keep tightening it down until you get a nice snug fit right in there. And you don't want it to be too loose, because otherwise that will cause a lot of rocking. As you can see, there's a very, very minimal going on in there. So this is what she would look like from the front. It's very, very cute. The neck is still a little bit shorter than I would personally like, but she won't have this neck melt issue as her old body was causing, because she is one of my favorite pull-up dolls in my collection that I don't want her to get ruined anymore. So it's a perfect fit. Luckily, with the Type 2 doll, she doesn't have any interference from her eye mechanism. With the Type 4 dolls, unfortunately, I don't have one open here. This back screw piece here, this white piece here is more closer to the neck hole. With Paha, I actually grinded hers down a little bit because I didn't have a smaller screw. If you don't have one that fits, they make various screws out there. You can get one that's more of a flat head, unlike mine, where mine's more rounded. You can get one that's more flat and wide that would allow to fit into the Type 3 or the Type 4 dolls. However, because I don't have that interference with her eye mechanism as a Type 2, I didn't have to worry about changing that out. So I will get her head screwed together and we'll be right back. Here is Miss Pullip Afternoon all installed on her new Azone body. It looks absolutely fantastic. You can see she still has a little bit of neck melt issue that I'll have to clean up from her old body. But her head moves a little bit side to side, and that's just due to her neck melt, but it does not move barely anything front and backwards. As you can see that little movement, but that's just because this body isn't originally made for her, so there's going to be a little bit of movement, but she still swivels from side to side, and it's very, very sturdy. There's no flop or anything. I don't have to worry about it coming loose over time. I'm very excited to get her cute hand molds and stuff. So this was her old body. Try and get it on camera here. And see some of the junk in the background, sorry. But this was her old body. It definitely was quite a bit taller. Like I said, I was used to her having a longer neck, so I'll have to adjust to having her have a little bit of a shorter neck since I'm so used to this body. I'll get over it, I'll get used to it just because I'm more excited that she will be sturdy and I won't have to worry about her neck melt issue anymore. So you may be asking yourself, like, Colin, why would I rebody my doll on an Azone body? Doesn't that affect the clothing? Yes, it does, depending on the type of doll, clothing that you do rebody your doll on. Not all of them are going to fit, especially because the Azone legs are a lot thicker and the feet are a lot wider than a lot of the stock Pullip dolls. However, if you're like me and you love getting custom clothes for your dolls, like for Isel here, almost anything Blythe size will fit these bodies. He's on a medium, she's on a large. Again, her breast size is quite big, so she may not be able to fit a lot of that stuff. But for him, because I sanded his chest down, I know it's not all that great. It was one of my first bodies I did that I tried that on, but it gives him more of a masculine look in his clothes. So that's one reason I like these bodies. Another reason I like the bodies is because they have cute hand molds, like you can see. She's got that really cute one, and then my Isel has this adorable one here as well, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. And the bodies are really, really sturdy too. I get these to stand on their own all the time, and this is great for photography for me because me and my best friends, we always go to the gardens and take photos of our dolls, so this works out fantastic for that. They're not double jointed, unfortunately. They allow you to do basic range of motion, sitting. You can kind of twist them out if you want them to sit on the floor. So they do still have quite a good range of motion. One thing I do like is the wide variety of the hand molds though. So that's always very exciting. Try to keep this as professional as I could. That's not always the case with me. I tend to just kind of go off on tangents and goof off in my videos, so not as professional as I would like it to be. So this will be the updated version of the rubber tutorial that I used instead of the washer, which I'll probably just delete that video and replace it with this one. Whatever. But I found that this method was a lot better for my dolls at least, so I wanted to share this with you guys because with the rubber method, like I said, that some of the stuff, like the rubber was wearing down and one of mine cracked because it was so cold out when I was taking photos, which I don't want that to happen to your dolls because that is not fun at all. But thank you for watching, I guess. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if this helped you guys at all. Also, let me know if you guys have found any other techniques or anything cool that you use to rebody your dolls, because I know, like I said, I use a drill and a few extra tools that someone else may not use, so that'd be kind of cool to figure out how my other doll family and friends, what they use to get their bodies put on their dolls' heads. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!